flow. So be flexible, but stick to your principles. I think the way we drive change is mostly based on the strategy we have within Wolters Kluwer. So we've been on a constant change journey for the last 20 years, transforming our organization from a print organization to a digital and software organization. And our vision to have deep impact for our customers when it matters most and to create a just and safe society has been, I think, the main driver for this change.
Just as Linda, I work at Stedin. We're a grid company. And as you can imagine, in our sector, the energy sector, things have been massively changing over the last years. That really means we really have to change a lot about how we work and how we do it, because we are a regulatory company and we're not a commercial company, so we cannot grow as fast as we need to at all times.
Well, Allianz, of course, also has a strategy, but I think even more important, I think it's becoming more and more a purpose-driven organization. And the purpose of Allianz is we secure your future. That's a claim. This is like what we want to live by. And then we break it down to the various strategies. And the area I'm working in, Agile at Scale, we are introducing more and more types, value steering. So that means like we really want to focus on how do we generate value. And then we look at what I've mentioned earlier. We look at the customer, we look at the employees and the business, and interestingly in that order. So it's not only or solely about business value, profitability, but we first have to delight our customer. We want to build a happy workplace, and then we have the business. And business profitability, yes, but we also have to look at innovation and adaptability. And how do we do this? One project or one tribe at a time.
In the Center of Excellence, they work about half of their time for the Center of Excellence and half of their time they have a local role. It also means that they know the local business and they know how difficult it is to change something, and they can really bring something to the table in the discussions about change.
I haven't even said it. I think we're talking about usually the same people who want to get engaged. And then there is an issue because usually they're overloaded. And then therefore the question is what does the incentive system look like? And do they have the capacity? And what I've been observing is and this is a dilemma, not just and the company I'm working for, but I have been observing this in lots of companies. We have 100% capacity and we're planning 120%. Why? Because this way we make sure that maybe get 100%. And that, of course, is plainly spoken, stupid. Because it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think change is not just from bottom up, it also has to be top down. And for example, when we introduce value steering in various development units, one board member said no, this is absolutely what we need. But he said, in order to convince my colleagues, you need to do your homework. Give me some data and do it from bottom up. So right now we're introducing value steering on the tribe level and team level. Once we have the data and can prove the value of value steering, then we can go to the board. And then we have a story to tell. So I think it's just people, that's one thing, but you also need to have the right stories to share.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
So and it can be little things and make it happen that people work better together.
I think a couple of 5 to 8 years ago, I would definitely have said best fit. But now over the years, I see that in especially the larger organizations, the best practices pay off as well. Like you said, having the dailies, it's so much easier if you have these common practices where you speak the same language, and also about methodologies we implemented, like you did as well, Center of Expertise, for example, for customer experience. So on every product or process, we do a customer journey, and people, they really comprehend the concept and how it benefits. So now I really see it as a mixture of those two. But only best practices would never work either.
So from an agile perspective, I think can we talk in absolutes? We use the term good practice or good fit.
Yeah.
And we capture it, and when we really capture it, it's not so much sometimes a methodology. We have a playbook. But actually what really resonates with people, especially when they are new to Agile, stories, concrete examples, and not just stories of successful implementations and, you know, how everything was fine. They actually also like to hear stories of failure.
Yeah.
And what they learn from it, you know, how they cope with it.
Yeah.
So storytelling is really key.
Yeah, I agree.
And for whatever reason, sometimes we don't collect them. Well, I think that I'd like to start with this one, if I may. These days, there's a certain framework called SAFe, which is very popular, and especially large corporations. We're introducing SAFe, and then we're agile. Yeah. There is a reason why I personally call SAFe fake agile. Why? Because it's like, I think it's totally over-engineered, and it doesn't ask the right questions to start with. And it's like people say, well, it's quite complicated. And it's like, it's not about the methodology, it's not about processes, it's not about optimizing processes, it's why are you in business? What do you want to do? Is it just like you want to, you know, be compliant with certain processes? Or what's the reason behind? And if you say, well, we're safe, and then we're using SAFe, so therefore we're safe, no, that's not the point. You can use Scrum, Nexus, what have you, all the other frameworks. That's not the point. I mean, what is it that you need? What is it that your culture needs? What do your customers need? And you can start, let's say, for example, with SAFe or some other frameworks, but you always have to customize it, but not in order to to meet the expectations or to fulfill a process. And oh yeah, but Scrum says such and such. So what? You have to customize, you have to tailor it to your needs.
We need a culture of being constantly curious, and not only internally, because what I described with the best practice sharing, that's something that we do internally, but that could also mean that over time that we create something that we believe is good, but we ignore everything that's outside our world, and that would be a pity, because then you miss out on so many other new things. And for example, we try to constantly feed our minds also with external ways of working. So we have collaborations with, for example, Salesforce, Google, but also with companies like Sony and Vodafone that we share also ways of working with, because we can learn so much from each other, I think. So being open to new insight.
Keep on exploring. I mean, always be open. Is this still the right way for us to go? Yeah. Whether that's agile, non-agile. So for me, it's the same. It's about the agile mindset. I think that's here to stay.